I work with a lot of children who have a lot of anxiety around trying new foods, taking that first taste and being willing to take taste after taste, even if they're not that keen on the food. And, there is a strategy that I keep coming back to that I find really helpful, especially for my kids who are over age 6. And I wanted to share that with you today. When I'm talking to kids about what it's like to be scared or anxious to try a new food, once I get to know them a little bit better, I kind of watch their body language. And if, for example, I can tell that it's really hard for them to put, oh gosh, a whole spoonful of soup in their mouth versus, say, just dipping their finger in the soup, not too hot, obviously, and just taking a little lick. Once I get a chance to kind of talk to them about that, I always ask, I noticed that when you were thinking about maybe dipping your spoon into the soup and putting it in your mouth, that didn't feel so comfortable. You looked a little stressed. But when you just dipped your finger in it, you seemed okay. I don't know what it's like for you to feel stressed. And I know what it's like for me, but I don't know what it feels like in your body. So take me back to that moment when you were thinking about that whole spoonful going in your mouth and you put the spoon down. What were you feeling in your body? And the kids will usually say to me, oh, I was nervous, or I don't know, I was stressed, right? And I say, those are good words, but I really want to know where in your body you felt that. And they'll usually say in their stomach or in their head. Sometimes they'll say in their brain. So when we get to that point, we kind of narrow it down. I always tell them that's really helpful for me to know, because it sounds like what you're experiencing in terms of stress, as you said, is actually what we call anxiety. That's just feeling anxious. And that's something that all of us have. There's certain times I feel really anxious or maybe even a little scared. Well, when you're feeling that anxious feeling, the first instinct is to say no, right? The first instinct is, no, I don't want that in my mouth. That's because you're trying to protect yourself from that feeling. But I want to explain something to you. When you start to feel anxious and you say no, you know what that does? It just squelches your anxiety a little tiny bit, but it never makes anxiety ever go away. It's always going to be there every time food shows up. But if you're really brave and you say, yes, I will put that spoon in my mouth, and maybe I give you some tips on how to do that, what that's going to do is it's going to chip away at that anxiety. And the more we chip away at it, the more you say yes, that anxiety will eventually go away. So you always want to try to say yes so you don't have that feeling around food anymore. So we're going to work on saying yes more than no.